In that final stretch before Election Day, many groups in Boston are trying to maximize voter turnout. One of them is our guest, who's organizing a basketball tournament in the Mission Hill section of Roxbury tomorrow. We'd like to welcome the founder of Dunk the Vote, Ron Bell. Thank you very much for being with us.
Thanks for having me, Chris.
First of all, talk about that first Dunk the Vote, going back, was it more than 30 years ago?
No, it was actually 24 years
24
ago.
years.
And I actually have a 1994 Dunk the Vote shirt, right? I mean, it was incredible. Again, every time I come on here, I talk about the Stewart case. It was a bad thing that happened in our community. We organized around it, and we were trying to focus on the people that were being racially profiled at that time, which is symbolic of what's going on today. And what happened was we ended up holding voter registration drives at local storefronts, but no one was coming out to the drives. So what better way to reach black men, and particularly black men, is basketball. So in order to compete in the tournament, you had to be a registered voter. And so 24 years later, we registered 50,000 new registered voters. We have our signature basketball tournament going on tomorrow. We have early voting, which we're excited about. This past Monday, we were getting brothers haircuts. They were getting their fresh cut, and they would go to Harriet Tubman and vote. And you look at the lines. It's incredible. I'm really excited, and we're celebrating early voting.
Well, talk about early voting. I mean, it's been going on for a while. It's been going on today in the Mission Hill neighborhood. What have you seen out there?
Yeah, man, lines are... Man, it's beautiful. Lines are so long. People are excited about voting, but I don't know if they're excited about the presidential candidate. There are ballot questions, as you know. Question number 2, number 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 ballot questions. I choose to vote no on 2. That's just me. But the bottom line is that we're organizing around issues, local issues. I believe it was Dapper O'Neill said, politics is local, so let's go out and cast your vote.
Tip O'Neill.
Tip O'Neill.
But anyhow, I want to come back to
Tip O'Neill.
The reason why you want people to vote, because this year, election year, it's not like 8 years ago. I mean, this is a racially polarized country, let alone city, and the two candidates, we hear about all these flaws they have. A lot of people say, why bother? Yeah,
it's a difficult one, and I actually can't wait till it's over. And they say it's not over until the fat lady sings. But speaking of racial profiling, we're holding other events on tomorrow in Milton, Mass. We're going to be engaging people on building race relations, which is a major topic between black and white people, between black and blue, black and everything in between. Everyone, let's bring it together. And in Milton Library tomorrow, we're going to be celebrating diversity and building community in 5 different towns. We have Milton, Wisconsin, you have Milton, Louisiana, Milton, North Carolina, and Milton, Oregon, and Milton, Massachusetts. And from there, you're going to be able to hear voices. We're going to put on headphones. It's a library installation, and you'll be able to talk with people from other towns throughout the country. There's 22 Miltons in the country. We're focusing on 5 Milton. So from Mission Hill to Milton, we are civically engaging people. They're going to be playing basketball at the Tobin, and they're going to actually be encouraged to vote, because by today's the last day of early voting. The lines are so long out at the Tobin. It's exciting. I'm excited, man.
Well, a lot of racial polarization is about images that we pick up from TV, but what about the images when people see each other face to face?
I think as a community organizer, I love face-to-face. I was talking to a friend of mine earlier about, people are so into technology now that they text. They hide behind texts and social media. I like to talk to you face-to-face. The image, because when you get to meet a person, you can tell when you face-to-face, you can see where they're coming from. You can tell if they tell you the truth or not, or you want to see if you want to build a relationship so you can have a friendship. So I think the image of having a person close to you is so important.
We're talking with Ron Bell from Dunk the Vote. Because the other face-to-face factor here is about the sense of purpose around voting, because it's not driven by the candidates as it is much by the people in the neighborhood. I mean, talk about just the events that you've been doing, that peer pressure, that persuasion.
It's all about persuasion. It's all about building relationships, because a lot of folks are asking me, who are you voting for? Because everyone doesn't pay attention like you and I. We've been doing this for a long time. You've been reporting, and now I'm reporting and talking face to face because they trust us, because we've done our homework on the candidates. So with Dunk the Vote, even tomorrow, we're going to be giving information on the ballot questions. We're going to be giving information on the candidates. We actually did a skit. I played Trump, which was very difficult. I got sick actually afterwards. But and one of my peer leaders from the Tobin Community Center, now she's a woman. She's a stand-up comedian. She played Hillary, and Mark Conrad, who was the former chair of the parole board and a former Milton police officer, he played Lester Holt. So we had a skit. So it was really funny. Yeah, I know. You can see me with the Trump here, right? But it was really good because now people are paying attention, and we use non-traditional ways to engage people. You're thinking about that hat, right? I mean, that hairdo. But we also have a song. Larry Wu produced a song, a Dunk the Vote song, that's geared to like the over 30, 40 types. And Dale Robinson did a revised Dunk the Vote song relate with the funk beat and everything for the younger people. We're doing all kind of things to get people out to vote. They got haircuts and, we're canvassing, door knocking and phone banking, just really pounding the pavement, grassroots, meet people where they are, talk about things that they think are important, then take action.
By the way, what about events after tomorrow? Because, it's always a chore getting people to go out to the polls. Sometimes they need a ride, things like that. Anything?
We're doing all of that. We're bringing people to the polls. On Sunday at Global Ministries Christian Church, we have a rally. We have Boston Praise Radio and TV, Dunk the Vote, NAACP, the Urban League. All of these groups are coming together to have a rally at Global Ministries Christian Church. It's going to be at 6 p.m. right in the beautiful Common Square, historic Common Square. And we're going to just really excite people, engage them to go out and vote. And we're going to challenge them to call people and to take people to the polls. We're going to even have a non-traditional social media phone bank right there in the church. Everyone get on their phone. Hit them up on your Facebook. Call them. Call 10 people right now. Take action right now all the way to November 8th.
Chris, the other thing here, too, is that no matter how much you're disappointed with the results of this election this year, when somebody looks at these numbers and they see how many people are voting in this or that neighborhood, they're going to have to come back next year. Other people, of course.
Right.
So I guess that means those neighborhoods are treated with maybe a bit more respect.
Yeah. Well, the other piece, too, Chris, you mentioned face-to-face, is building relationships. Boston's a cold city, and I'm not talking about the weather. People don't speak to each other. When you go face to face, you start meeting people and building relationships. We need to continue to engage them. I believe this is going to be a historic election for Boston because now we're going to get all these folks engaged around certain ballot questions, right? And then we keep them engaged. And then we got a big mayoral election and other elections coming up next year that are local. As Tip O'Neill said, politics is local. I got that right.
All right. And while we're talking local, we should mention the location and the time for tomorrow's event with the basketball tournament?
The basketball event, it's at Tobin Community Center. It's at 2 o'clock. 1481 Tremont Street, actually where I used to be the director of. That starts at 2 o'clock. And also at 2 o'clock at Milton Public Library is the Milton. So I'm encouraging people to come to both, go back and forth from Mission to Mission, from Mission to Milton, Milton to Mission, and back.
Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Ron Bell from Dunk the Vote. In a moment, the report from Dorchester with Bill Forey.